Hello everyone, welcome back. I want to give you guys an updated 5-year later review on this Ruger MPR. Okay, so I've done lots of videos on this. You should go back and check out those older videos if you guys are interested in this rifle, because I do, in each video I've gone through them in a lot of detail. But I mainly want to tell you guys, 5 years later, I bought this thing in 2018, okay? And so I'm completely through 5 years. I'm actually going into the 6th year now with this rifle. And you guys watching my channel, you guys know I have lots of rifles, okay? Lots of palmettos. I do keep going back to palmetto because they're economical, they're great training rifles. But despite the palmettos and the radicals and some other brands that I have, the Ruger MPR is still my best shooting rifle. Okay, as far as accuracy, obviously this is set up as a distance shooter. This gun hits the 1/2-inch groups and the 1-inch groups the most frequently. Okay, now I do get those groups also with palmettos, right? 1/2-inch groups with the match grade ammo, 1-inch groups with the cheaper ammo. Today I was shooting X-Tacs, okay, these PMC X-Tacs, 55 grains, 100 yards. Okay, so basically we're looking over here, okay. So I did a 5-shot group. The 5 shots are 2 inches, but the 4 of the 5 are at 1.25 inches. Okay, so we can say that maybe I threw that one over there. So 4, or sometimes the ammunition can be a little inconsistent. So 4 out of the 5 at 1.25 inches. And there's another one here. Okay, so again, 4 out of 5. Now, any which way I measure this, I basically got 1.5 inch group. So 5 shots, 1.5 inches. Okay, so at 100 yards. So for I bought this gun at, I think it was like $640 when I bought it. People have been able to buy it in the mid 500s, even low 500s. If you see it at that price, grab it. Okay, it's a great gun. I mean, it is easily a $900 gun. Now in Europe, I am told that they're paying like $1,500 plus for this gun. People have made from in Europe have reported that in the comments on different videos that I have done on this. So don't look at the price and say that, hey, this is a $500 or $600 rifle. Remember, it's if you went back, let's say 20 years, an AR shooting these type of groups would have been like $2,000+. Okay, now if you look at it over here, the scope that I have on here is the Primary Arms PLX. Okay, 1 to 8 first focal plane. This is the M8 Raptor. This is a beautiful scope. It's a $1,500 scope. Okay, and again, I've done many reviews on this scope. Where I go into using the scope to do, not just, a scope like this. If I'm going to have a scope like this on the rifle, I'm doing more than just using it for magnification. I'm using the bullet drop compensator. I'm using the wind holds. I'm basically range estimating, right? Using the mill lines. This gives me like 200 mils on the x-axis, 200 mils on the y-axis. So I'm doing like long distance range estimating with this. I'm practicing leading targets. So anytime I'm going to put 1.5 pounds on top of the gun, I want more than just magnification, right? Otherwise, I would just put a red dot with a magnifier behind it. Okay. The benefit of the red dot with the magnifier is I can easily remove the magnifier, and I have a much lighter gun. Okay. So with this, if I'm going to put a scope on here that's 1.5 pounds, right? Scope and mount. I want more than just magnification. So this scope here, being $1,500, and then the mount's like $100, right? That's an aerial precision mount. So we're talking $1,600 on top of a $600 rifle. The two are evenly matched because these are technologies basically from different time periods, right? The scope is more modern. It's newer, whereas the rifle is 5 years and older technology, right? I bought it 5 years ago. They were probably making these things 6, 7 years ago. So that's the reason why the scope is so much more expensive than the rifle. If these were from the same time period, I think that both of these, you know, are worth $1,600. Okay, so, you know, so if you would at the time that these technologies came out, and you had like cold hammer forged barrels, right? This has an 18-inch cold hammer forged barrel. Okay, and there was a point in time where you had to pay the minimum $1,500 for this, and now you know, so you basically, this is a $3,000 gun, a combination of gun here at a certain time period. Okay, so yeah, so I don't want you guys to just look at, hey, it's a $500-600 gun. Okay, it's a $500-600 gun at the moment. Okay, you know, if you go back far enough, it's a much more expensive gun than that. Now, one of the things I've done with this gun is I've removed the muzzle brake. This comes with a muzzle brake. I don't like the muzzle brakes. They're obnoxiously loud. You know, so I took off the muzzle brake. I put on just standard flash hider. I like shooting the gun a lot more that way. I have the I use the Lancer magazines. I've been using these things now for at least 3 years. I've done many reviews on the Lancer magazines. Works great. I can see what's in them. I typically use the 20-round ones because if I'm either prone or benched, this doesn't hit the table. So, but I got lots of the 30-rounder ones. You can get them now. Like at times, these were like almost $20 magazines. Right now at Bolt they're about $10. Okay, so $10. Get 10 of these at a time. Okay, and build up a stockpile of these. Great magazines. I got like boxes of these stuff. Okay, these things are awesome. What else have I done? Now, when I first got the rifle, right, there might have been I think when I originally got it, it would not cycle steel case very well. I wasn't sure why, because other people's Ruger MPRs did cycle the steel case very well. And what I think I discovered about maybe in the last year, I changed out the gas rings that were in the bolt. Okay, and when I changed out the gas rings, the gun was cycling steel case ammunition perfectly. So what might have happened is that the original gas rings that they put in this, they might have not been good or whatever. They might have been out of spec slightly. I remember 2 of them being in there instead of 3 when I went to change them out. So I don't know if one fell out at some point when I was cleaning it or something. I mean, I just don't know. But when I first got this rifle, it would not cycle steel case ammunition. And since I replaced the gas rings, it does, okay? Now, I've also broken the firing pin on this rifle. Now, this isn't a gun that this is a distance shooter. So this isn't the gun that I shoot thousands and thousands and thousands of rounds. I mean, I probably got under 2,000 rounds on this AR here, right? I believe I definitely broke the firing pin once. I may have broken it twice. I don't remember exactly. And I'm pretty sure I broke it twice. And I think at one point it was broken. I think at one point like in three places. The gun was actually still working with the broken firing pin, because even though it was chopped, because the firing pin runs in the channel. So even if it's broken, it's still running in the channel. It will still work. Okay. Now, why did the firing pin break? That may have been related to the gas rings. There might have been too much pressure going into the bolt, and that might be the reason why I broke the firing pins. Okay, so the firing pin broke. Well, I'm pretty sure it's twice. None of the other people I've spoken to have had this issue. Again, I just don't know. I never noticed when I first got the gun if it only had 2 of the gas rings instead of 3. I just never paid attention to it. I don't know if one fell out at some point while I was cleaning it. So that's an I don't know. So I don't know if I should blame Ruger Quality Control for that, or if it's just me being sloppy when I was changing the gun. I mean, yeah. But this aside from that, the gun is like absolutely wonderful. I love it. It is my favorite AR. Okay, it is the AR that shoots. I mean, that's why I got a $1,500 scope on it, right? It is the AR that shoots the half-inch groups most often with match grade ammunition. Okay, and it is the one, because even when I put match grade ammunition to other guns, I mean, I don't always shoot half-inch groups, right? I mean, first of all, I'm not always that good, so I tend to get the half-inch groups most often with this, and I I get the 1-inch groups with target ammunition more often with this. Okay. Over here I got like a Palmetto 223 Wild, also a great gun. Gets 1/2-inch groups, gets 1-inch groups, but I just don't get them as often. This is probably my second best gun with the 18-inch stainless steel barrel. But they both will do the same thing. It's just that I tend to get the better groups more often with this Ruger. Okay, now one of the things I always liked better about this was the 2-stage trigger. So the 2-stage trigger's got like there's a little bit of take up there, and then it has a fairly light break. I mean, I think people say it's a one pound take up or 1.5 pound take up, and then maybe like a 3-pound break. It's very light. I like it a lot. For the longest time, I just kept this Palmetto 18-inch stainless steel one here. I kept this with a match grade trigger, and I didn't like that trigger very much. I recently upgraded this to a Palmetto 2-stage trigger. Okay, now this also has a little bit of take up, but the take up on the Ruger is a little bit more firm. There's just a little bit more take up there. And then the brake, there's definitely a difference in the brake, but like if you're not paying attention to it, you're not going to notice it. I mean, between these two triggers, if you're not paying attention to it, right now they are about the same. Okay. So anyway, I was wondering if the reason why I was getting better groups more often with the Ruger MPR was because of the trigger. So today, so the last week or so plus today, I've been shooting it, and yeah, it seems like I still get better groups more often with the Ruger MPR. Okay? So yeah, go back, check out my old videos. This is basically an updated video to let you guys know that the Ruger MPR is still my best AR-15. Okay, really like it a lot. Oh, one of the things I am planning to do is I am planning to put an ambidextrous safety on here. I've had it in the back of my mind for a long time. I mean, it's not a big deal if you're standing. Go down to 1 power. If you're standing, coming up, that's not a problem. It's just when you're in the prone or benched position, sometimes it's a little hard to reach it depending on how you are positioned on the ground, and that's where it's convenient to have the ambidextrous safety. Now, if you get it, okay, make sure that it's standard length on one side, half length on the other, right? You want it shorter on your trigger finger side, because what happens is when you hit this with the thumb, right? If it's the same length, as it rotates, if you keep your finger straight, it's gonna hit it. Okay, so that's why it has to be half length on the side that your trigger finger's on. Okay, so that's important. So I've got the back ordered at the moment, but I was able to get a good price on some from Optics Planet over the Black Friday weekend. I think it should be coming to me pretty soon. So I'm going to put the ambidextrous on this one, ambidextrous on that one. I got a third one. I'll figure out where I put it later on. So one thing I would like to add, okay, I just got a Palmetto AR-10, okay, great shooter, right? The Palmetto PA-10 Gen 3. I think I'm getting like 1.5-inch groups on that at 100 yards. I've hit them several times with the Freedom Munitions ammunition. I have match grade ammo. I haven't even tried it yet because I'm still working with a red dot on that gun. I haven't put a magnification scope on it yet. But what I would like to say is Ruger has an AR-10 called the SFAR, okay? Which, see, the Palmetto AR-10, right? Although so far it's been it's an excellent gun, reliable. It's heavy. I mean, without anything mounted on top of the gun, the thing weighs like 7 pounds. Okay. The Ruger SFAR, an AR-10, is about the same size and weight as an AR-15. Okay. So the problem that I've seen with the Ruger SFAR, okay, is that it has an unreliable and inconsistent gas system. Okay, the Palmetto AR-10 has 17 positions on their gas system. Okay, so it's 3 slots per turn, so it's a total of 17 slots, which really allows you to dial in that, the gas on that AR-10. Okay, and AR-10s traditionally have had problems with the gas, right? Because 308 ammunition, which basically there's, I've seen as much as 200 feet per second velocity differences. Okay, so hunters with bolt action rifles tend to like the softer hitting, softer recoiling 308. So the industry over time has gravitated to making basically lighter recoiling 308 ammunition. Okay, so that's why the range is that wide. Your military ammo is up in the 2,800 feet per second. A lot of the hunting ammunition is down to 2,600 feet per second. So there's like a 200 foot per second gap there, which is why you need an adjustable gas system in a 308 AR-10. Okay, so the Ruger S-FAR has only 3 positions compared to 17 that Palmetto has. If they change that, right, and they give people more gas positions, I think they will have an excellent AR-10. Okay, so that right now they got the Gen 1. I'm waiting for the Gen 2. Okay, the other thing that they gotta do is the Palmetto AR-10 is, I got that for $700 over the Black Friday weekend. Okay, they're usually around $800, but I can get them. People can get them as low as $700. Remember, with the Palmetto, you can buy the lowers separate from the uppers. The uppers, you get them shipped to your house. The manufacturer saves on taxes with that. Okay, with Ruger, I'm not aware that they sell lowers and uppers separately like that, in which case the buyer ends up spending less money. So that's one thing they got to do, right? Give people the option of buying the lowers and uppers separate. Okay, they got to fix the gas system on their AR-10. Okay, and they got to fix their price. Okay, because the Ruger S-FAR, they're basically between $1,100 and $1,300. Okay, which, here's the thing, like the Ruger MPR, we're talking $600 here, right? And people have gotten these as low as $500. So this is like in direct competition with Palmetto AR-15s. Okay, direct competition there. The Ruger S-FAR, okay, is way overpriced compared to the Palmetto AR-10. Okay, and there's just no reason for that. If Palmetto can sell them for $700-800, Ruger can sell the S-FARs for $700-800, and they're gonna need to do that if I'm gonna buy it. Okay, so I'm kind of putting this out there where, yeah, Ruger MPR, my best AR-15, best accuracy of all my guns, a great price at the $640 I paid for it, and like I said, people can get them even cheaper. Ruger needs to do that with their AR-10. Okay, they need to make an S-FAR Gen 2 with a better gas system, and also get the price down to that $700-800. Okay, so hope you guys enjoyed this updated video on this Ruger MPR. And do search my channel name and Ruger MPR, and you should be able to find all the videos I've done on this in the last 5 years. Okay, so thanks for watching. I'll talk to you all soon, and check your subscription because YouTube unsubscribes people. Hey, one other quick thing I wanted to add for your Ruger MPR. Okay, get one of these bubble levels. That's from Monstrune there. It's only $15. This made a big difference as far as giving me consistent accuracy, right? Because usually you're trying to level your scope or your reticle off to the ground, okay? And the ground is usually crooked, okay? So in order to be consistent with your accuracy, you've got to level off the rifle to gravity, right? Because the bullet's reacting to gravity, not to the shape of the earth, okay? So that's why you gotta have a bubble level. $15 just goes underneath your scope like that. And if you got like a magnifier in the back, you can put it in the front over there too. That works just fine. I've done that on some rifles that have magnifiers. Hey everyone, I want to add one more thing in general on Ruger. I think they would bring down their costs significantly, especially for their end consumer, if they would at least offer to sell the uppers and the lowers separate. Okay, so manufacturers pay a firearms tax on firearms when they have a serial number, okay, because then it's considered a firearm. So if they ship the complete firearm, they pay a firearms tax on the whole thing. If they ship the lower with the serial number separate, they just pay the firearms tax on that. So the way it works out is, as often as I can, I try to buy the lowers and the uppers separate. I have the lower shipped to the FFL and the upper shipped straight to my house. Now, recently, as far as my Palmetto AR-10 purchase, I had no intention of getting an AR-10 now, okay? It was something I was like planning to put off for a while. What happened was on Black Friday weekend, Palmetto was running a sale on their lowers, so I was able to get an AR-10 lower for $200. I said, okay, no big deal. It's only $200. I'll get that. I'll have that shipped to the FFL, and then down the road at some point I'll get the upper. Okay. Well, as soon as I put the order in, within like 2 or 3 days, I ended up paying the $500 upper. Okay. So it's almost like a gateway drug. Okay. You sell the lowers cheap, right? And then you'll eventually sell the uppers as well. So yeah, I think that now for whatever reason, Ruger doesn't do it. They may want to, maybe contract with a different company, right? Because fine, I understand that maybe they don't want the extra work or they don't want to change their business model, but they can at least pick another manufacturer or set up a separate company to process those sales for them, right? Because I don't think Ruger does any direct sales, so they should pick one, right, and basically sell the uppers and lowers to those other distributors, and then this way they can get out that way. So I think that would go a long way towards improving Ruger's sales and also dropping the cost, right? Because Ruger seems to be running on an old business model. Palmetto, for example, is running on a new business model, which is basically direct sales. In fact, Palmetto sells Ruger SFARs, okay? They sell Ruger MPRs. So I think that's, Ruger should make a deal with Palmetto to, buy and sell their uppers and lowers separate, since Palmetto's already in the business of selling Rugers, okay? So I just wanted to add that. I think that this would help Ruger's sales out in the long run, okay? So drop some comments. Let me know what you guys think.